Welcome back. Dealing with your dog's behavior problems can be a delicate issue. It can be physically and emotionally draining for both dogs and humans.
Yes. But in this morning's pet project, Annie is getting to the bottom of some of our canine training and behavior modification issues. That's what we're calling it. Modification issues, Annie. Good morning.
That's right. And Allison, you know how frustrating this can be. So I asked our Facebook friends to share their questions and concerns about their dog's behavior problems or challenges they're facing with training their pet. And joining me out, helping me out this morning is Lisa Tudor, the founder of KissAble Canine. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning.
Lisa, before we jump into these questions, I want to really quickly mention that you are a certified trainer.
Correct.
And you not only offer in-home training, but you also have a variety of classes, which I find interesting.
Yes, we do puppy classes. We
Yeah.
have some obedience classes at the Animal Welfare League of Arlington, where we do some of our classes. We do a tri-ball class, which is a sort of, think of soccer for dogs, if you will. We work on behavior issues like jumping.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that because we got a lot of questions about jumping and along with other things. So we're just going to jump right here into our first questions. I'm sure you get asked this a lot. The first one comes from Rosalind, and Rosalind asks, how can I stop my 10-month-old Catahoula from jumping on everyone? He's not aggressive, just really loves attention. And I would like to add that her dog weighs about 50 pounds. Do you have any simple steps or tips for her?
Yeah, so, you know, Ferdinand's about 50 pounds, and he also likes to jump when he gets really
He actually
excited.
tried to jump on me, right, when I graded him?
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, part of it is telling him what to do and how to greet. The thing is, so Rosalind, the good news is that she has a social dog, right? Super excited to greet people. The bad news is she has a social dog because now the dog is like rewarded every time he jumps up. So, you know, part of it is, hi, Ferdinand, and, you know, getting him used to that, hi, buddy, and that he's getting rewarded. I'm using dog kibble, hi, buddy, and that this level of excitement doesn't mean anything. It means, hi, Ferdinand, the dog, oh boy, and he sits and he gets rewarded. Or I come down here and I pet him. And then it's
To his level.
to his level. And it's Rosalind's job to make sure that he doesn't get to practice jumping. So it might be as something as standing on the leash and making sure that if I go, woohoo, buddy, 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 that he actually doesn't get to practice.
Now, let's also mention that you didn't work with Ferdinand for the whole weekend. This was just, you picked him up this morning, and he does have a jumping problem. So some of these tips do really work. Thank you for that. Jumping into our next question, this one's from Julie. And she writes, after 4 years of my perfectly behaved Finnish Lapin rescue Max, I decided to get a mini Aussie puppy. From day one, Max has actively intimidated the puppy. Why does Max hate the puppy, and how can I keep them from fighting? And this is, what, a dominance thing, or what's going on here?
Well, it sounds like the older dog is trying to kind of rule the roost as far as letting what this puppy can do. You know, I want the puppy to learn what compatible living looks like. Unfortunately, it's up to the owner from the moment the feet hit the floor out of bed to remind the dogs who's actually in charge, which is the owner, the pet parent. So it means if kitchen is a point of contention, then dogs aren't allowed in the kitchen. They have to be sent to their beds, and they lay down and they stay. And if the puppy needs a little gate around its bed to learn to stay there, then you use whatever tools that can help. But letting the older dog bully the little dog lets the older dog practice bad stuff too.
Right.
So it's up to the owner to, up until they go to bed at night, she's managing the situation.
You are in charge, the alpha.
We
That's
are in
hard to remember, especially when you have a cute little puppy in the house and you just want to spoil them silly. But it's a good reminder to owners, you are the one in charge and you have to practice, practice, practice.
It is.
Our next one, she writes, my dog barks to let me know if there is an airplane, a car coming up the driveway, that a family member has arrived at the door, or that a blade of grass is blowing. So basically at everything. How can she stop the dog from barking? She's tried everything.
Yeah, that's a tricky one because barking can be such a natural behavior for dogs. You know, and it could be a learned behavior in the sense of mom's not giving me attention, let me just start barking at something, and then who shows up? Mom shows up.
Right.
And so it becomes a little bit of a learned behavior. What I would probably do is reward the dog for quiet or redirect the dog. So you're saying, Ferdinand, okay, come here, good boy, and you're pulling off the window or you're pulling from the, you know, the noise of the airplane. The other thing is to redirect the dog to maybe a puzzle toy. You know, the school buses are dropping kids off and it's going to be the next half hour of traffic out front window. Here's a busybody, or here's a Kong, or here's a Chewy, or something to keep the dog busy. And then if that is working, but we need a little bit more, I would put the dog into a timeout And that means it's literally timeout, and I would escort the dog into maybe a bathroom or another room, and I would close the door. The dog can have a little temper tantrum behind the door, comes out after 3 to 5 seconds of quiet.
And you have to work with them continuously with these, right?
Every barking
That is
an
probably the
opportunity.
#1 tip here, is that it takes a lot of time and effort, a lot of homework for the owner as well. Thank you so much, Lisa. Those were really, really good tips.